Welcome to Media and Design Learning, where we introduce you to a variety of digital media programs and how to make the most out of them. Today, I'll be introducing you to Procreate. While this rapidly growing digital art app is fairly straightforward, there are a lot of cool hidden features that are super handy that many don't actually know about. So on that note, let's get started. The first hidden feature I'm going to show you is how to take advantage of drawing guides and the assisted drawing feature. Essentially, these features create grids to help lay out your work and draw lines directly following these grids. So if we open up the Actions menu in the top left corner here, the logo for this being the little tool icon, then select the Canvas tab, we are presented with a list of settings that will manipulate or relate to the canvas in some way. As you can see on my screen, one of these options is the drawing guide. If we toggle that on, you can now see a 2D square grid has appeared on my canvas. This grid is helpful for making straight lines and ensuring things like calligraphy or other aspects of your work are perfectly straight. While this drawing guide is incredibly helpful, there are also other drawing guides Procreate has. So looking back at the Actions menu under the Drawing Guide option, there is a button directly below this reading Edit Drawing Guide. So let's select this. Here, the drawing guide settings will open up on our screen. As you can see at the bottom of my screen, there are numerous types of drawing guides we can use and edit as needed, aside from just the 2D one. There is also isometric, which creates little triangles. With this guide, the assisted drawing feature would make all of the lines automatically follow the lines on this grid. As with all of the other drawing guides, you can play around with the grid size, thickness, color, and opacity. My personal favorite grid is the perspective grid here, where you can tap to create one or multiple vanishing points to have complete reign over what type of perspective you'd like to do. With assisted drawing toggled on, all lines will automatically follow the specific set perspective, helping you create a piece with a perspective that is totally accurate. Finally, there is a symmetry drawing guide. This guide can be used to allow one side of your canvas to be mirroring the other. This is good for simple logos, basic head-on portraits, or more complex shapes like bottles and squiggly designs. If you're looking to make your piece more anatomically correct or give yourself less hassle of lining things up, take advantage of all of these drawing guides as they are super handy. Depending on the type of art you do, sometimes reference photos can come in handy. That being said, it can be incredibly frustrating to use another device to see an image or to insert a photo onto your canvas and attempt to draw around it. Lucky for us, Procreate has this pretty cool feature that allows you to upload an image beside your canvas, and it's called Reference. So if we go back to our Actions menu here and click on Canvas again, here we can see the Reference option. So let's toggle that on. On our canvas, a little square tab will pop up. Here, you can see another little perspective of our canvas, which is really good for helping you see the whole artwork when zooming in and working on a smaller aspect. It gives you a second perspective, really. Looking at the bottom of this tab, if we click on the Image option, here we have the option to import any image from our photo library. Select the desired image, and now you have a reference image beside your canvas that you can drag anywhere, zoom into, and even select colors from. You can also use the Reference Companion feature to create your own face filter by selecting the third Face option. Overall, while this feature isn't widely well known, it is incredibly helpful and worth giving a try. This next feature is really hidden in Procreate, and I only learned about it while playing around with buttons a few months back. So in Procreate, we're able to insert photos onto the canvas if desired. This can be helpful for tracing over hand-drawn designs, manipulating photos, and whatever else. Another feature that many Procreate users love is the fact that a time-lapse video of every single piece of artwork made is created and can be exported as an MP4. Let's say we want to create a piece and eventually share the time-lapse video of the piece being created, but we don't want the inserted image to be shown. Procreate has provided artists with a feature that allows us to insert private photos. These photos do not show up in the time-lapse video, so only the artist will know that the image was used. This feature works with the Insert a File, Insert a Photo, and Take a Photo options in the Actions menu under Add. To insert a private photo, simply swipe left on the Insert a Photo option, and the Private Photo option will appear as a selection. One noticeable difference between programs like Adobe Illustrator versus Procreate is that Adobe uses vectors, whereas Procreate does not. Instead, Procreate is raster-based, meaning it is a type of data involving a rectangular grid of pixels. Vectors, in turn, are images and lines composed of vector graphics, which are created using mathematical formulas. While this lingo probably sounds a little confusing and overwhelming, do not worry, it's getting to a point. Vectored lines are generally able to be manipulated, with their anchors being able to be moved in different ways, along with being able to be warped using a mesh warp feature. Procreate has a similar feature. Let's create a quick organic shape here, and let's say we're not happy with how it looks and we want to distort the shape in some way. Good for us, we have a few options here. Upon clicking the little selection arrow tool at the top left of the screen here, we can see that not only has it selected the contents of our layer, but a small options guide has appeared at the bottom of the screen. These are settings for adjusting the size and shape of the layer contents, in our case, this cute little blob we've created. If we select the distort option, we can, as expected, distort the corners of our design. This tool is particularly helpful for adjusting designs or text to fit into different perspectives. Next, we have the warp option. Similar to vector designs, a grid pops up onto our layer and we're able to warp and manipulate the blob into different shapes completely. If we want a more precise warp, we can select the Advanced Mesh option, which adds little points, again similar to vectors, throughout the grid on our design, allowing us to adjust many different areas of our little blob here. The warp and distortion features are great for adjusting aspects of a design, instead of trying to erase and redraw certain aspects of your piece over and over and over again. The final hidden Procreate feature I'll be sharing today is how to show the cursor of your brush and how to get the most out of gesture controls. These both are fairly easy, but incredibly helpful. In our Actions menu, we're going to select the Prefs option, which is short for Preferences. This whole menu is all about adjusting settings to make Procreate the most enjoyable experience for each individual user. In this menu, we can see that one option is Brush Cursor. Upon toggling this on, we can now see the cursor as we draw. This is great when using different styled and sized brushes and ensuring our brush is the desired size before drawing. Another helpful setting in the Preferences menu is the Gesture Control settings. So let's click on that. It brings us to a new menu. Here, we're able to adjust different buttons and hand gestures to do different things, which is super cool. We can make settings where touching the screen with one finger will automatically turn on the smudge feature, swiping with 2 fingers can turn on the eraser, and a lot more. A gesture control that I added is when you tap on the small rectangular button in between the brush and brush opacity sliders on the canvas, and I'll show you guys where in a second, assisted drawing will automatically be toggled on. I use this gesture control all the time. This is a great tool, and I encourage you to take advantage and play around with these settings until they feel right for you. That's it for today's video. I hope you all learned something and were able to follow along. Any support on this channel is appreciated, whether that be a like, subscription, or passing the news of this channel along to your friends. Thank you so much for watching, and subscribe for more creative content like this.